Larry King hosted the CNN show for many years. He passed a few months ago, and one of the questions he raised with John MacArthur, who was a regular guest on his show, was this: he couldn't believe in a God who allows so much brokenness, suffering, and evil. And I think that's a worthwhile question to discuss in the show tonight. And I think to answer that, first of all, we need to go back 3 steps and understand that God's supreme ethic is love. When he sent his son on the cross to die for our sins, he displayed his love. And one of the last things that Jesus told us when he left, before he was crucified, he said this: "In this life you'll have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world." And then he said this to the disciples and to us: "I have told you these things so that in me you will find peace." And that's the only peace that we can really find in today's crisis, when you're going through brokenness. I know myself, I can identify 3 or 4 times that I was absolutely broken, and the only refuge I found was through Jesus Christ, through prayer, through meditation, through community church, small groups, worshiping God. Worship, when we worship Christ, when we worship Jesus Christ, it's the bondage breaker. It's the enemy silencer. The enemy wants to come to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to grip us with false accusations, false guilt, hopeless accusations. But God has come to set the captives free.
We were at a prayer meeting. We pray once a month for At the Cross Live, and we were at a prayer meeting for At the Cross last month, and one of the ladies, something had just happened. A death had just happened. And not only a death that just happened, but just a year ago, another death of somebody real close to her had happened. And so she was invited to pray, because it's a prayer meeting, and she said, "I can't pray." She said, "I can't pray. If I'm so angry with God, I'm so angry with God. 2 of the 2 closest people to me, He has taken, and I'm so angry. I'm so angry." And that's okay. But you know what? We can't end at anger. And maybe that's where you are today. Well, you can't end there. That's where the enemy wants you to end. You have to end with what God has said about himself. Hear me. God is too kind to do something evil to you. And he's too wise to do anything that is not good. So you've got to know when you don't understand what the situation is, when you don't understand it, you've got to fall back on who you know God is, what the Bible says about Him. The cross says it all. He poured out love at the cross. Love for you and for me. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever simply believe in Him, you won't perish in brokenness. But Jesus says, "I come to give you life, and to give you life more abundant."